Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. We've got a special interview on tap just for you. Our guest tonight is an American television producer and writer with notable works including The Shield, The Walking Dead, and Damien. He is the 2013 Bram Stoker Award winner for Superior Achievement in a Screenplay. He's currently the co-showrunner and executive producer of the incredible series Beacon 23, of which season 2 drops Sunday, April 7th. For those who haven't already seen it, first off, you don't know what you're missing. All right. Beacon 23 is based on a series of short stories by Hugh Howey. The show is set in basically what is an outer space lighthouse, where two characters, one government agent Astor, played by the incredible Lena Headey, and the other, an ex-military operative named Halen, who is played by Stephan James, as they struggle for trust and, more importantly, survival. The show, much like the book, is a character-driven narrative with a unique tone, and while some aspects differentiate the show from the book, the heart of the story remains intact, and the show preserves the central problem of being trapped on a space lighthouse focusing on survival and human connection. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there for this interview, but we had our good friend and field reporter, Angry Elf, on standby, filling in for this behind-the-scenes exclusive talk with the amazing Glen Mazzara. Enjoy.
My first question wanted to be how do you approach adapting short stories while staying true to the book's essence?
Well, I'm a fan of Hugh's work, and he and I had a conversation, and he about how to approach his adapting his work.
Right.
And he really wanted something, and I wanted the same thing that was character based,
Okay. Yeah.
and so there are elements of mystery and a thriller, and obviously, you have a bit of action and all of that. But he said it really needs to come down to the characters. And so, he wanted to explore the psychology of what is it like for people to be trapped in space. We just all
Hmm.
went through the pandemic. We
Right.
know what it feels like to be isolated, to be
Yeah.
trapped with somebody,
Oh, yeah.
to drive somebody crazy, have them drive us crazy, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So we had a real conversation about tone, and about and there's also been a lot of sci-fi shows, and we know what they do, and we said, well, this would happen in the world of Beacon 23, this would not. So I think it's about having an open communication
Right.
with the original creator of the material, and just making sure, because I do feel that it's my job as a showrunner to honor that original vision. I don't want to just take the title and then do my version.
Right.
You want to at least feel that you're giving the audience the same type of emotional response that the original writer is.
Right. And with your book of work, especially with Walking Dead, and it started off as a comic series and then was
Mm-hmm.
turned into the AMC show. I can definitely see that and understand that. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what inspired you to work on Beacon 23, and what really attracted you to the sci-fi genre?
Well, I'm a fan of sci-fi. I've read a lot of sci-fi. I watch a lot of sci-fi. It's always interesting to me. And so, I was friendly with Zach Penn, who created the show,
Right. Yeah.
and and he had a big task. They were shooting season 1 and season 2 back to back. And
Right.
so, and the question was, how do you make season 2 stand on its own and not just a continuation of season 1, so that, you kind of want each season to have its own shape, its own arc, to say something that's a little different, but that's building on the foundation of season 1. So I was brought in to help with that. And then I ended up, becoming the co-showrunner for season
Right.
2. And but what really got me was, here was an interesting thriller. It
Uh-huh.
felt like we didn't know who to trust. It felt like a little
Yeah.
crime thriller set in space. That was something I had not seen before. That was interesting. It wasn't
Mhm.
about, space wars or the time travel or stuff we usually see. So
Mhm.
it felt oddly grounded. It felt, a little like, yeah, maybe that's what it's really like to be trapped in space, on the edge of the galaxy. So that's what brought me in.
Great. Speaking of being trapped, the lighthouse setting creates a unique sense of isolation, like you said. Um,
Yes.
how do you approach capturing the psychological impact of being stranded in space?
You know what? That is a great question. So a lot of it has to do with the lighthouse.
Yeah.
So we wanted to feel, well, what's it like to be trapped in a lighthouse? So
Hmm.
you would hear the crashing of waves. If you listen to the show, you kind of have a wave like
Right.
noise. You feel things creaking. You
Hmm.
feel you feel
Yeah.
like you're in an old house. So the you know frightening qualities of being trapped by yourself, we
Yeah.
played in a space station. Space stations are usually very clean, well lit,
Hmm.
overlit, that kind of stuff. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to make it feel like, oh, there's a creepy attic, there's a
Yeah.
basement, there's that. And that has to do with the character's own anxiety and fears and stuff. So we sort of did that. And then there's just a lot of, how do these people fill their day? How do they drive each other crazy?
Yeah.
Um, when they have an argument, there's a scene where there's an argument and somebody walks to the side, but where are they going to go? There's no place to go.
Right. Exactly. You're
So
trapped.
yeah, so we did pay a lot of attention to that.
Were there any like specific research or creative processes involved? Did you go and visit a an old lighthouse in New England or something?
No, no, we just kind of I think we did some research on AI, or we did some stuff regarding, how, physics would particularly work in space, that sort
Right.
of stuff. We actually did some there's some stuff in the middle. There's kind of a theory about this part of the universe that
Uh-huh.
was interesting. We did some research on that, but for the most part, we just sort of we we didn't want the audience to have to know a lot
Right.
to have the experience. So our characters, there's no science officer, there's no
Right.
engineer. Okay, Halen, who is Stefan James's character, is
Yep.
terrible. He has no idea what's going on. When you meet him in season one, he's got post-its. Don't touch this. Touch this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's the worst guy to be in space. And so then when Lena Headey shows up, she's like, "Oh, this is the worst guy to be trapped with," and then
Right.
she doesn't know what's going on. So I like that. I like the characters being exactly the wrong people to be trapped in. So that makes it more frightening.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you share any insight into the growth and development of Astaire and Helene's characters throughout the series?
Um, well, that's what the whole show is, and so there's a lot of, exploring their characters and why they're making decisions based on, past traumas. A
Hmm.
lot of the show has to do with trauma, and so we explore these traumas. We explore how people are used by the systems that they're
Right.
part of, and how does that affect their interpersonal behavior. So that was something that we always explored, and I think we play that out throughout both seasons, and it's an important part of the character development. And then when you have talented actors
Right.
like Lena and Stefan, you just give them that stuff and they chew it up. So
Yep.
so we were lucky to have them.
Well, great. Um, well, it looks like we're close to our time. I want to thank you for the time
Great.
to speak with you and look forward to seeing where season two and hopefully the future takes us with Beacon 23.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.